I'm reviewing here! We are back. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of I'm Reviewing Here, a podcast where I, your host, Matthew Bussey, watches and reviews all of Sight and Sound's top greatest movies of all time. How you doing today? You good? You good? You good? Let me tell you about my day. It sucked. I'm feeling a little bit better. The movie that I'm talking about today really cheered me up. I also just meditated. Meditation, guys, try it. It will save your life. It is so powerful. Just do it. Try it. Try it. I was a little bad though. I only did it for 10 minutes instead of 20 minutes today. And that might sound crazy. 20 minutes, huh? How do you do it? It takes practice. You do it. A good friend once told me, you know what the worst kind of meditation is? No meditation. ... Yeah, it's true. No meditation. That's the worst kind. That's the only bad kind. No matter if you think you're doing it wrong, that doesn't matter. The point is that you're doing it, and you just have to keep doing it. Okay, anyway. My day today, guys, oh, wow, I'm gonna, start sweating when I talk about this. I'm afraid to, when I go to bed tonight, I'm gonna have to undress, and I'm afraid to look at my body because I'm worried that there may be, bruises on it. I got a massage today. I get a massage once a month. It's a massage, duh. They feel great. It's really good. Well, I always say it's good. It reduces my anxiety. It doesn't really do that, but it just feels so damn good. I got a massage today, and, I try to keep a positive outlook on life, but I can't with this one. It was terrible. It was the worst massage I've ever had in my goddamn life. Christ almighty. I have no words to describe this. It just was, egregious. It was, painful. 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 Oh, God. All right. So, I went to a different place because I'm out of town this week. And I usually get a female masseuse, but none of them were available. So I got a guy, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. And I went in, and, he seemed a little awkward, but he was friendly, and they always ask, are there any parts that are sensitive, or any parts that you want me to focus on? And I was like, well, my back, I always love my back the most, because I get a lot of knots in my back, because I sit down at work all the time, and just don't do my feet, don't do my tootsies, please, because I'm very ticklish, and, I don't want to kick you. And he said, great, that's fine. And, I always also tell, my masseuse, I like it rough. No innuendo there. I like a rough massage. Yeah, I want you to press your fingers and your palms deep into my skin, and I want you to crack those bones and untie those knots until you sweat. Preferably not on me, because that would be gross. MRSA, hello. Ooh. But, MRSA. Oh, God, touch wood. I do not want to get MRSA now. Okay, so, when I say rough, though, a rough massage means that they press really deep into your skin. And it can get a little painful, but it feels good. It's a good pain. This guy waltzed in. I was, ready, and he starts massaging my back. I don't know how else to explain it apart from, have you ever done the dishes and there's a plate that is really, really dirty and you cannot get the stain off of it, and you are scrubbing the hell out of it with the sponge and you still cannot get the stain out of it? That's what happened today. I was the plate, he was the sponge, but his sponge had razors attached to it, and his hands, he had Hulk hands. My eyes were closed, you guys, but I'm convinced that this guy turned into the Hulk when he was massaging me. It was so painful. He was not even rubbing my back. He wasn't even massaging my back. He was just rubbing his hands over my skin, almost like he was scratching. It was just you can't see the hand motion I'm doing, but he was just doing that, and he was not even pressing. He was rubbing but not pressing. So that was just painful. That didn't feel good at all. Also, he was literally shaking my whole damn body. It was like an earthquake. My whole body was shaking. My face in that little hole, where you put your face, it was like I was shaking that badly. At the beginning of the massage, my face was there. At the end of the massage, my face was probably like 2 feet further down the bed. And also my hands were on the sides of the bed, and I looked like Jesus on the cross. It was so bad. It was so painful. And then he did it on my legs and my arms. And he didn't even have enough lotion. So he was just dry. He was rubbing. No. He was painfully rubbing my legs with like essentially dry hands. And okay, I have hair on my legs. That burns. Ever heard of friction, buddy? That really hurts. I thought a fire was going to break out in the room on me. So painful. And of course, typical me, because I'm such an idiot and I'm too nice. He, like, halfway through was like, how's this massage going? And I just went, it's good. Really? Yeah. And then the same thing happened when I was leaving and I was paying, and the woman at the front desk, how was it? And I said it in the exact same tone. Oh, God. So annoying. So annoying. I was limping to my car. Also, I was still sticky from all the... He didn't put enough lotion on me, but he put enough on, and then he kind of just left it there, and I walked, and when I walked, my body, like my feet were making this sound, because there was that much lotion still, like, glued to my shirt. Like, it was glued to my shirt. Yeah. Nightmare. That was my Sunday. How was your Sunday? Great. I don't care. Woof. So I came back home and I watched a masterpiece of a movie I did not expect to enjoy as much as I thought I would. This, my friends, is My Darling Clementine.
Here's mighty entertainment that combines the exciting action of reckless pioneer days, the romantic conflicts of men and women who led perilous lives, the lusty humor of those who dared America's frontiers, and the breathtaking beauty of scenes filmed in the magnificence of the great Southwest.
Aw, this was a great movie, and I'm very happy that there were no massages in it, or else it would have really triggered some serious anxiety. I was very surprised by this movie. I say that because I'm not a big fan of Westerns. Nothing personal, just not my cup of tea. I'm a cup of Joe, It's the same way not everybody likes horror movies. Westerns for me, I don't know. I don't really have an excuse. Just not for me. Not really for me. Maybe because I didn't really grow up on them, and maybe, I don't know about you guys, but growing up, I'm a millennial. I don't really remember a lot of classic Westerns coming out in my day. I don't know. Do you? Do you disagree? Do you agree? Leave your response in the comments, please. No. You can if you want to. I really don't care. But I think, it's different, though. I think, growing up back then, in the 20th century in Hollywood, or in the United States, that is, I mean, oh my God, Westerns were so much bigger than they are today. And so I can see why a lot of filmmakers and actors nowadays, the ones that are a lot older, they do love them. But I don't know. I'm still waiting for Westerns to make a comeback. Well, they kind of have. There's that show Yellowstone. Isn't that with Harrison Ford? I haven't seen it. Anyway, My Darling Clementine. This is a movie. It was released by 20th Century Fox in 1946. It is directed by John Ford. It's based on a novel called Wyatt Earp, Frontier Marshal by Stewart N. Lake. The story, though, was heavily fictionalized in this movie. And also, I forgot to say, John Ford is the king of Westerns. Like, name all of the most famous Westerns in Hollywood of the 20th century. They were done by John Ford. He won 3 Oscars for Best Director: The Informer, The Grapes of Wrath, How Green Was My Valley. And he also, all Westerns. And he also did The Searchers, and he did The Quiet Man, and so many others. So I never actually heard of My Darling Clementine, but I was very delighted when I read about it to see that Henry Fonda would be in it. I rest in peace to Henry Fonda. There is something about Henry Fonda that I cannot explain. He was forever, to this day, one of the greatest actors of all time. Every role I've seen him play, you just want to like hug him, you know? You just want he had that. He had that charisma that I love so much. I gotta be honest, look, there are some actors, some huge famous actors that I'm not really a big fan of. I mean, they're dead now, so I guess it's okay if I say that. But oh God, that was really dark. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. Um, yeah, I mean, and we'll get into that, you know, with whatever. I'll get into that with whatever more movies are coming up. But Henry Fonda, though, there's just something about him. I cannot put my finger on it. But you know, and if you don't know, the Fondas, you know, they were a big family of actors. Jane Fonda was his daughter. Who I'm sure that you know, and she is still alive. 80 for Brady. She was just in. Don't laugh. It was actually a really cute movie, okay? And I'd recommend it. I do recommend it if it's still in theaters. Who knows now? Because with. Don't get me started. Uh, yeah, but he's great in this movie. So My Darling Clementine, what's it about? Did it win anything? Not really. It didn't really win any Oscars, but it is considered to be one of the greatest westerns of all time. It's preserved in the National Film Registry. Now, if a film is preserved in the National Film Registry, I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. That means that's a big deal. Means that movie is famous and amazing, and you should go see it. So that's held by the Library of Congress, I believe. And there's a whole lot of, oh, gee, Christ, there's like thousands and thousands and thousands of movies in there. But this one I'd never heard of. Didn't really win any Oscar. No, yeah, it didn't. It didn't win any Oscars. It came out actually. I didn't even know this. So Henry Fonda actually served in the U.S. Navy during World War II, and this was his first movie he did right after service, which and he did a good job in this movie. So this is a very heavily fictionalized story of a real event that happened. It's known as the gunfight at the OK Corral. This happened in Tombstone, used to be Arizona territory, uh, which lasted until, I'm looking at it right now. Sorry, did not memorize this. 1912 is when it lasted till. But it kind of revolves, you know, the movie culminates in that event. But like I said, it's very fictionalized. The movie does follow characters who were based on real people. Now, Wyatt Earp, you've probably heard of that name before. I think they made a movie with Kevin Costner in like the 90s or 80s, but I haven't seen that. Wyatt Earp really existed. He was an American lawman. He was a gambler in the American West, and he was involved in this big famous gunfight. And he knew John Ford, the director. John Ford, I mean, hence why John Ford like did so many westerns back in the day. He knew him, and Wyatt himself actually told him all about this incident at the OK Corral. I should also mention, just because this made me laugh so much. In the movie, it's called the OK Corral, but then there's another shot where it's called the Wells Fargo Corral. It's not that funny, but Wells Fargo, like Wells Fargo Bank Corral. Yeah. My Darling Clementine, though, you know, this it surprised me too because it's not a big action blockbuster western. You know, there's action in it, but for the most part, the movie is very quietly done. You know, there's no big over the top score and sound effects and all of that. You know, like if there's a big plot twist or something, it's not like it's like dun dun dun. You know, John Ford, what I really liked in this movie is that he avoids that, and I like when movies do that. I like when they make the movies more what's the word? Kind of like you're actually there, you know, because in real life, if something bad happens, we don't hear music from the sky. We don't hear a John Williams score go off, you know? I wonder what my score would be. I think if I'm in a good mood, it undoubtedly would be the E.T. soundtrack, that E.T. score. If I was in a bad mood, what would the score be? Oh man. Oh, that's a good question though. What is a bad score? No, bad score as in like a score that's like like scary and means ill bad intent. I guess Jaws. That's kind of lame. I'll think about that later. Yeah, but this movie though, it's unique in that way. I wouldn't really call it a blockbuster. I think it's more of a character drama. And it really I was invested with every character from beginning to end. And so let's get to it. My Darling Clementine, it takes place in 1882. It starts off in the beautiful desert. This movie also does not get any more Western. I mean, it's set in the desert. There are a lot of horses. There are a lot of men drinking whiskey, a lot of meanies, a lot of drunken fools, throwing glasses, and there's a lot of women, and they're all, singing, and all the men are like, ooh, and it's very obvious that they're, having sex off camera. There are brothels, there is, and guns. Yeah, what kind of Western would it be without guns? So it's 1882. It's the middle of the desert, and there are these four brothers: Wyatt, Morgan, Virgil, and James. And they're cattlemen. They're on their way to California. Wyatt, played by Henry Fonda, he's the leader of them, and James, he's the youngest of them all. And they come across this man named Old Man Clanton, played by Walter Brennan, who was a very famous actor. I think he won an Oscar. Yeah, he won a few Oscars, I think, in the 30s and 40s. But anyway, this guy, Old Man Clanton, such a Western name, he's with his sons, and they look a little bit like baddies. There's something a little bit off with them. And Wyatt is very professional, and he just kind of asks them what that town is over there. And then, we get a shot of the usual Western looking town. It's out in the middle of nowhere. There's a big rock that looks like a thumb. Holes. I'm thinking of the movie Holes, the scene with the mountain and the thumb. Good movie, Holes. Disney Plus, watch it. Yeah, and that town is called, get ready for it, Tombstone. Tombstone, Arizona. And there really is a tombstone. It's a historic city in Cochise County. Cochise County? I might be saying that wrong. So the brothers, they don't really want to go there, but Wyatt wants to get a shave. He does. Nothing wrong with that. So they go into town. James stays behind with the cattle, and James, oh, get ready for this scene. James has a necklace. He has this little cross. Guess how much it's worth? A big fancy cross. $25. Ugh. I don't wear necklaces. Well, I do. That's a lie. I have a Star of David necklace that I wear, and it cost me. I got it in shekels, and it was a lot more than 25. Can you imagine if necklaces were $25? Damn it. But anyway, it is a fancy necklace. He decides to stay behind, and they go to this town, Tombstone, and it's a mess there. It's anarchic. There is no marshal. Everyone is doing what they want. Everyone's running around. There are prostitutes everywhere. There are drunken men in bars. People are just like shooting at each other for fun. It's chaotic. And the brothers go to this barber, and he's getting shaved. And then these shots come into the barber shop, these gunshots, and they're like, what the heck? Like, what's going on? And okay, this scene I did not like at all. And I'm going to briefly go off topic for a little bit. The brothers run out, and they're like, what's going on? And the townspeople are like, oh, it's that crazy Indian. He's in there. And yeah. And then it cuts to the scene, and there's a Native American guy shooting all over the place, shooting out the window, drunkenly shooting and shooting at the ceiling and everything. And yeah, he's Native American. And Henry Fonda, Wyatt Earp, and like pure Henry Fonda, Wyatt Earp badass fashion, goes in, drags the Native American out by his legs, and it's just like, get out of here, like, you suck. It's a disappointing scene, and John Ford did this a lot in his movies. He did not treat Native Americans in a good light. they were always treated as bimbos in his movies. They were treated as baddies. In The Searchers, a very famous movie. I don't want to watch that, but I know I'm going to have to. I had to watch that in film school too, senior year. But in The Searchers, the Native Americans are the villains. They kidnap, people. I forget the story. They kidnap people in it. They're bad in it, essentially. Stagecoach was another film where in the beginning of the movie it's like this. It shows you a Native American and then these two white guys, and the white guys are like, this Indian here gave us some news, and then it's like a close up of the Native American, and the Native American, they make him look like a total like an alien, basically. He's just standing there. And it makes sense if you remember the famous Oscar moment where Marlon Brando refused to accept his Oscar because he said, "I'm not accepting it." Native Americans, they've been treated so poorly in these movies for years and years and years, and it needs to stop. And I don't accept the Oscar. Good for you, Marlon. Good for you. So anyway, that scene happens. That also, that scene has nothing to do with the movie at all. So I do not understand why John Ford put that in. Was John Ford secretly racist? I need to do some research on that, but he does that in a lot of his movies. So that happens. The brothers are just like, well, whatever. Okay, we're gonna leave. They go back, and it's pouring rain. They go back out to the desert. The cattle are missing, and little James is dead. And his, little necklace, cross, I think it's a Trinity cross, is missing. What happened? They don't know. But that's the thing about Wyatt, though. Wyatt, hides his emotions very well. It's not a big dramatic moment. He just goes right back to town and says, "That's it. I'm going to be your marshal. And I'm going to find out who killed my brother and who stole my cattle. I'm going to find out right now." And his two brothers, Morgan and Virgil, they become his, I think they become his, mayors, kind of. I don't know. They basically come and they run the show because nobody else was doing it in town. Now, this is where the story goes in a kind of a different direction because, you think you have the protagonist in action now. You have what he wants to do. He wants to find his brother's killer. And you think that's where the story is. You think that's where the main story is going to go, but it doesn't exactly. Wyatt meets some other characters in this town. He meets a woman who's very, very tempestuous and saucy. She is a Latina woman. Her name is Chihuahua. I love that. She bites. Chihuahua. Yeah. I don't like chihuahuas. A chihuahua bit me on the face one time. Now, granted, it was my fault because I was very drunk and I put my face up to the chihuahua's face and he bit me square on the face and I bled everywhere. It was an awful night. I also was running home that night and I tried to jump over a bike and I fell. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Such a bad night. Anyway, that chihuahua was not nice, though. But this chihuahua, she's a woman. She's not a dog. She already, has attitude with Wyatt, and you don't really know why. Or, what's going on. She was and Chihuahua was played by Linda Darnell, who was another very famous actress. She was not Mexican, but she did have Cherokee on her maternal side. So, kind of close, I guess. But yeah, she's got some attitude with Wyatt. There's a funny moment where he takes her outside and she slaps him, and Wyatt just calmly pushes her into this barrel of water, and she's like, "Oh, no!" Which is funny. There's another character in town who's also got a bit of an attitude. His name is Doc Holliday. He's played by a great actor named Victor Mature, who I kind of recognized but didn't. He was in Samson and Delilah. He was in a movie called The Robe. Both really big, huge Hollywood epics, which I have not seen, actually. But yeah, his name is Doc Holliday. His real name is John Henry Holliday. And he's got an attitude. Why does everyone have an attitude? You're kind of you're guessing this. What's going on? And again, Wyatt is, this just proves why Fonda's such a good actor. Wyatt keeps his cool. He's just he doesn't want to fight anybody, and he's just like, "What's up?" And there's that great Western bar moment where they're at the bar and they're, chugging whiskey, and the bartender does the slide move of, sliding the shots of whiskey down the bar, and I've always wanted to do that, but that would not be a good idea. I've never seen anybody do that. Do people actually do that in bars? I think maybe this is why Westerns, maybe I'm not into them, because I can't do what they do in the Westerns. I don't want to kill people, of course, but I would love, like, in the Western to, go to a corral and just drink with everybody. But I can't dance. I have to dance, though. I cannot dance to, like, a live band doing, like, old school Western songs with, like, guitars. Oh, God. No, 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 no. There needs to be a DJ. Somebody, please. I'm turning this soon in April, so somebody, I want that for my birthday, please. Where was I? Yes, okay, Doc Holliday. Jesus, I'm sorry. Doc Holliday, also, it's implied that he is dying. It's implied that he has tuberculosis because he is coughing up a storm very disgustingly. Uh, and it's sad, and you kind of guess maybe that's why he's a bit of a cranky, meanie guy. He also, you find out, has been sleeping with Chihuahua. And no one's really happy, No one's really happy. And pretty soon, Clementine comes into town. Who is Clementine? She's in the title of the movie. Clementine is Wyatt's lover. She comes in from Boston. She's this very sweet, very calm young woman. She's played by actress Kathy Downs. And she comes in and she kind of is very polite, and it's just like, John, where have you been? Like, and John is so cold to her. He's just like, I don't want to talk to you. Just go home, And of course, Chihuahua is super jealous and is like, who is this bitch? Get her out of here. I don't want her. Because, she just wants to get out of town, and she wants Doc to take her out of town. And Wyatt is kind of just observing all of this. And there's a little bit of a romance that develops between Clementine and Wyatt, but it's not the main focus of the story. Another thing I really liked about this, it's less about, that would have been so predictable if it became a movie about the romance and just the romance only, and the plot of, getting revenge. It's not that. It's these, John Ford really cares about these characters. And I think, Doc is clearly, he's a douche, the way he treats his former lover, Clementine, but he's also dying. He doesn't really have a right to be mean, but you kind of feel for him. You feel for why he just feels like life is so useless now. And Wyatt, again, he's just a great character because he just observes all of this, and he's so calm about it. He doesn't want any violence at all. Did the real Wyatt Earp want that? I don't know. I don't know any cowboys. I don't know what they're like. Especially back then in the late 1800s. I don't know any. But I don't even know if in my family tree history I have any cowboys. I found out on my dad's side, I have a relative who refused to fight in the Civil War and fled to Canada, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Loser! Just kidding. No. But, so, okay, this movie, it goes along. Things are getting a little tense. Wyatt runs into Chihuahua and discovers that she has James's cross. Dun, dun, dun! And she's like, what happened? And what she says is so shocking. She says, Doc gave it to me. Doc gave it to me. What? Did Doc kill James and steal his cattle? Why would he do that? So Wyatt, again, is super cool, but he and his brothers, they run off to get Doc, and Doc is like, what are you talking about? I didn't take that. And they go to Chihuahua, and then Chihuahua is like, I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you did. And they're like, why are you lying? What happened? And Chihuahua finally confesses, for real this time. She says, okay, it wasn't Doc. It was Billy Clanton. Boom! She got shot from the window. Billy Clanton is the son of Walter Brennan's character, Old Man Clanton. Oh my god, that scene made me gasp. Yeah, so she gets shot. Billy hops on his horse and gallops away, and Chihuahua is badly wounded. Uh, Virgil, anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah, Virgil hops on his horse to chase after Billy. He gets to the corral. Billy gets shot and he dies of his wounds. And then, Virgil, this scene is so annoying. Virgil, good guy, but what are you doing, buddy? He just basically enters Clanton's corral and is like, and he sees, the father, and he sees Billy dead on the bed, and Clanton's like, "What have you done? You killed my son." And Virgil's kind of like, "Well, an eye for an eye. He killed my brother, so I killed your son." Virgil, though, doesn't take out his gun and shoot the dad. He turns around and is leaving, and then the dad, Old Man Clanton, son of a bitch, shoots him and kills him. Wyatt has just lost two brothers. Wyatt, this innocent man who just wanted to get a shave in town, just wanted to be with his brothers and that $25 cross and those cattle, has lost two of his brothers. It's really upsetting. So back in town, Chihuahua, Chihuahua. I wonder what her nickname is. Chi. Yeah, no, I won't call her that. It's like you're saying achu. Chihuahua is being what's the word? Oh my god, why am I blanking right now? What do doctors do? They medicate on people. No, they do surgery on people. Yeah, that's what I mean to say. So, Doc is a doctor after all. So he operates. That's the word. He operates on Chihuahua, hoping to save her, but she dies, and he's still really cold to Clementine, and it's just like, because she helps him during the surgery, but he still is like, thank you, but you should go. Like, I don't want you here. Jesus, Doc. Wyatt, again, though, he's a good guy. He's either deep down screaming and crying, or he doesn't have any emotion at all, but he comes back to town and it's just like, okay, I know the bastards who killed my brothers, we gotta go get them. Doc goes along with him, and they go, and there's this big shootout at the corral. It's a mesmerizing sequence. The cinematography in this movie, I haven't talked about that yet, but it's so good. So good, so amazing. It was by this man named Joseph McDonald, and the shots. If you want to be a cinematographer, make a Western. You got the sun, you got the setting, you got the sand, you got the shadows and everything, and there are so many good shots in this. The shootout scene, and this is the act. This goes back to the real shooting, the gunfight at the OK Corral or the Wells Fargo Corral. It's really not that funny. I don't know why I'm laughing so much at that. Side effects from the bad massage today. There's a big shootout. No music is happening. There's no big score or anything. It's a very honest shootout. Doc gets shot and he dies. Old Man Clanton, his other sons get killed by Wyatt, and Old Man Clanton comes out, arms up, and Wyatt, being the good man that he is, says, "I'm not going to kill you. Just get the hell out of here. I don't want to see your face. Don't come back to town. Get out of here." I think he even says, "I hope you live another 100 years." I think it's because it's him being like, "I want you to grow up knowing that, your sons are dead," basically. Ouch. It's a cold line. But, this guy, Old Man Clan, he's a loser. He is like, "Fine, I'm going to leave." He gets on his horse and he's going off, and then he turns around to shoot again, and he gets shot. Yeah. So that happens. So right now it's just Wyatt and Morgan, and they decide to resign as, the marshal. Wyatt decides to resign as the marshal of town, and they decide to go back to the west like they originally wanted to. And when they're leaving, it's a beautiful moment. Clementine is there. No lover now. No one really. And they don't kiss or anything. He, shakes her hand because he's a gentleman. And he promises to, see her again in the future. And then he rides off into the desolate land of the desert. And that, my friends, is My Darling Clementine. Kind of an unusual name for a movie because it's not really a romance, in my opinion. And I read something too that I think in the original cut, he hugs Clementine. Wyatt hugs her, but then in the released cut, he shakes her hand. It's a really awkward moment, but Wyatt, again, he's just a man. Uh, he's a man. He doesn't, want to be inappropriate or anything. And I wonder, because this is heavily fictionalized, what was the real Wyatt Earp like? And how much was made up in this movie? There really was a Doc Holliday too. Oh yeah, there was. Chihuahua, I read, she was kind of an, what's the word, like an amalgam? No, amalgamation, is that the word? Of different, a few different real women who existed during this time period. But these were real people. And, yeah, John Ford, I don't like how you treat Native Americans, but, you made a very moving Western. It's just a good movie. Good characters, good story, unpredictable, very sad, very, very sad. I think, Old Man Clan, I mean, they're a bunch of just assholes, pardon my French, in this movie. But, you feel for Chihuahua, you feel for Doc Holliday. Who wants to be in a town that small in the middle of nowhere? No offense, but who would want to? There's danger every day. And you understand why Doc is just like, people, just screw off. I just want to, die, all right? You get it. You understand why Chihuahua just wants to leave. You understand why Wyatt isn't really crying and showing all this emotion when his brothers were getting killed, because this was, every day. Gotta remember that, guys. This was 1882. Out in the West, people died all the time. People got shot all the time. People were crooked. You went to a bar and you got in a fight with someone, boom, you're dead. I mean, yeah. This is life. Everyone's just used to it. I think maybe that's why, to this day, My Darling Clementine has really held up. It's just it's an accurate depiction of it's a good old Hollywood movie, good old Hollywood Western, but it's very real. Yeah, it's a very real, very moving movie. But I don't know if you heard that. That was my stomach. I'm so freaking hungry right now. This movie, where can you watch it? It's not streaming anywhere for free, unfortunately, but I highly recommend it. A lot of famous directors and film critics have lauded this movie all these years later. You can rent it for a few dollars, like $3.99 on, any of the streaming platforms. I loved it. And it helped me reaffirm my love for Henry Fonda. I just cannot wait to see more movies that hopefully he better be in more movies on this list. I know there's going to be more John Ford movies. John Ford, man, still going back to the Native American thing. Oh, that's annoying. But again, look, this is why we watch these movies. We learn from them. No, John, it's bad to treat Native Americans that way, okay? He can't hear me. Yeah, he's long gone. He died in... What year did he die in? 1973. If you saw The Fabelmans, which you should see, Steven Spielberg's latest movie, yeah, that's John Ford at the end. Not John Ford. It's an actor playing John Ford. It's actually David Lynch. But yeah, that's meant to be John Ford. And I think the real Steven Spielberg actually did meet John Ford. Yeah. That's for another episode, though. The Fabelmans, great movie. Go check it out. Thank you all. I'm happy you tuned in. I will see you in the next episode. And I'm going to end this note that by saying that when you go to get a massage, don't ask for it to be rough, okay? And if you like it rough, just double check with your masseuse. Oh, God. My legs hurt. My hair follicles hurt. Oh, God. What a bad day. My Darling Clementine, though, thank you for cheering me up. Good movie. Check it out. Bye-bye. Woo!